Hello. Um, yeah, this is. I thought I'd do a pickups video. I've got plenty. It's post Christmas. Um, some of these are from before Christmas. Sorry, you might. If you hang around long enough, you might realise I've. Fucking hell. Got a bit of. I don't know what it is actually. It's not a cold. It's just a cough. I thought it was only like little kids who get coughs. I mean, like if I have a cough nowadays, it's normally associated with a cold, but this is just like something else entirely. Don't know, it's annoying, but yeah, well, that's what I've got. It's been hanging around for ages. Um, don't know. Hopefully it'll go. I've got a feeling it is going, but um, I had like a sort of husky voice, and that's gone mostly. So now it's just down to the cough. So apologies if I cough regularly and intermittently. No, regularly. Yeah. But yeah, so uh, yeah, most of these are post Christmas. Not really. As I always do, I generally buy my own Christmas. Not always, most of them, but some of them I get given money for Christmas because I'm an awkward son of a bitch to buy presents for, and so I end up buying my own. Because I think quite a few people will sympathise with that because you know what you want, don't you? I mean, you can't always expect your loved ones to understand exactly what it is you're after, and then even if they did understand, um, me in particular, I wouldn't want them to overpay for something. My cheapness has goes down sort of certain degrees of separation. So if I put something on my list, I don't want people buying things for me, like overpaying for things they're buying for me. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, pretty much most of these are not really Christmas presents. Some of them are maybe post Christmas things I've been keeping my eye out for. But excuse me. Um, some are pre Christmas, but yeah. Either way, fuck. Bugger. I was going to include some of my Christmas presents, but this is one you might have guessed. Christmas shirt. I got some GoPro accessories, including the selfie stick. I haven't had the guts to use that yet. And it's got like the head harness things and the chest harness. The chest thing, chest mount, head mount thing. But I've not used any of them yet. I've not had the harness too. But yeah, fuck it. Let's go on with these. One that I won't include because I can't because it's downloadable. I bought on the PSN store. I bought the Dreamcast version of Pier Solar. Um, After Pete on a retro tip mentioned that he'd got the hard copy, it came through after however many years of waiting. Um, they still had some available for I think it came to about £37 in sterling. I think they were about 59 something. Don't know, US dollars. And I just thought to myself, I wanted to play it. I wanted to play the game, but could I really justify the outlay considering that £37 outlay, considering that the downloadable version was available for £8 at the time? So, and also I'd heard from a few sources that the game itself, has certain issues. So I thought to myself, no, I might as well screw it. I'll go with the downloadable version. So yeah, I downloaded that, and yeah, um, I think does it have um, like the sort of it has the shiny sort of Dreamcast HD version. But it also has sort of like the alternative, sort of slightly more retro looking original um, Mega Drive version look. Not necessarily the actual game, but the look, doesn't it? I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So I've got PS Solar. It's £8. That was a Christmas present to myself. Um, Yeah, and it doesn't seem to be there anymore. I mean, I've not had my PS3 for for that long, and I've noticed that all of the games, quite often they will have games for sale available, but then they'll take them away. A lot of the games I've downloaded you can't get anymore, or at least I've looked and you can't, unless I've been looking in the wrong place. But yeah, so PS Solar, I've got that downloaded. Right. The only one that you've actually would have seen already, the first few are charity shop purchases. Only one of them I got on film, because the others, sometimes I don't always take my camera out. One of them in particular, I just ducked into a charity shop pre a hospital visit. I had a routine ultrasound. Turns out I've got double fucking hernia. Where the fuck did that come from? But anyway, apparently that's what I've got. Two of the bastards, but one of these came from before that. But I'll get to that. Right, first one, you've already seen it. It was Sonic Colors. I'm not convinced I'm going to keep hold of this. This is £1.50. I might do, but if I see something in Computer Exchange that I really want and I need some credit, this might get sacrificed. I don't know. I've not bought or played a Sonic game in a long, long time, and it would be a shame to sacrifice it so early on, but it might stay around, I don't know. I mean, the next game's the same. Also a charity shop purchase. Resident Evil 0 for £1. There's less point in me keeping this one because it's just a GameCube port, isn't it? Just with motion controls, and it doesn't add much. So whether or not there's much point in keeping this, I don't know. I don't think you really need both versions. I don't think there's much added content. I don't know. Excuse me. I don't know if anybody can enlighten me on that subject. But yeah, it's a quid. But the thing is, those two together, they're both worth £5 in Computer Exchange. So if there's something I need, I see for £10, they'll probably be the first two things to go. Maybe this one as well. Actually, this was that was, they were £1 and £1.50, or £1.50 and £1 respectively. This one was £1.50 as well. It's Pikmin, game I don't have. I've never been kept that much of an eye out for it because I've got number 2, and number 2 addresses the issues that number 1 has. Apparently, this one has time limits, or unfair time limits, doesn't it? I think number 2 gets rid of them, and I hate games with time limits. Sorry, I generally avoid them, but it was only £1.50. And it's sort of a game. It's it fell into the bracket of games where you would like, but don't want to pay too much for. So yeah, I had to change the case out because I needed a case for something else, and I had this spare case, a really, really, really shiny GameCube case, and I didn't want to use it for anything I traded in. So I put it with a game I'm going to keep. So, and if I do end up getting rid of it, I'll just swap the case out for something shittier. So there you go. Yeah, Pikmin for £1.50. 3 more charity shop games. This one, it came from. I think this came from the Nintendo magazine. It was a sort of a free giveaway. Greatest NES games ever. I went into the charity shop. I didn't have much cash on me. I had very little actually. I had about £1. Excuse me. And I think I needed 50p for my Oyster card because I needed just a little bit to top it up because I needed to go somewhere on the bus, and and I saw this, and the price label was, the guy took it off for some reason, and the price label, as far as I could see, said 49p. So I thought, 49p, it was cheaper than other things in the shop, and I looked and I thought maybe it's 49p because it was a free giveaway with the magazine, not actually sold. It was a free giveaway. I thought, maybe that's why it's 49p. So I took it to the counter, and he charged me 99p. And I sort of, I felt a bit cheap arguing over 50p, but I did actually need that 50p, and it had said 49p, and I was expecting him to say 49p. But then, there was a bit of discussion about it, and he went, "All right, I'll let you have it 49p," even though I had said I'll pay 99p. I just have to walk home rather than get the bus. But in the end, yeah, he gave me it for 49p, and I just felt a bit cheap. But it's a good selection of games, though. I mean, on the back, it's got Super Mario Bros, Zelda, Donkey Kong, Metroid, Duck Hunt, and Super Mario Bros 3, and a load of others besides. But yeah, and it's Mac compatible, which is good for me. But although apparently might take a bit of jiggling to get to work, apparently for Mac users. But yeah, I mean, I don't have a NES, and um, I don't have a NES, and I'm not. I can't imagine I'll be having one anytime soon. So I thought that's a good way for me to play Mac NES games, isn't it? Or the best of NES games, all in one place. So, I mean, people out there who will say, well, you could do that easily yourself by downloading emulators and stuff. But no, I'm lazy. I'm lazy, and my IT skills are limited. I've tried using emulators before, and it doesn't come naturally. No, it does. No, it doesn't. No. Um, I don't know. It's just too much hassle. I can do it, but it's just too much hassle. The best two charity shop purchases. I would have liked to have got this on film, but unfortunately I didn't. Just Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario Advance 4 for just £1.50. There you go. That says one. Yeah, just sitting on a shelf, just on its own, just plonked next to the DVDs in a charity shop in Edmonton. Yeah. So I thought, I love that. So £1.50. Not one I've got again. See, not one I've got. Well, actually, no, I've got it now. Just realised I've got it. I've got it here. Oh well. I can get rid of that one. No, I can't. I'll be getting rid of all the others as well. And probably the best charity shop purchase recently. This came before my hospital visit. So that's why I didn't have this on film. And it's 49p, Bubble Bobble, and Rainbow Islands. I didn't actually have any cash. I had to leg it to the bank. And one of the women in the charity shops went, "Oh, you can use your cards," and then the other one went, "No, not for 49p, you can't." So I had to run to the bank, and that's actually a really good price because this can get a bit pricey, not majorly, but sort of upwards of a tenner, maybe. I don't know. Actually, I did look, but it's more than you'd imagine. It's actually not bad, Nick. It's just got a little split there on the case, but apart from that, that's a bargain. Was on my list as Bubble Bobble, and yeah. As far as collection goes, I'm chuffed. Wasn't majorly high up on my list, but it's definitely one I wanted to get. And I'm not gonna pass it up for 49p. Excuse me, I'm gonna have another coughing fit. Ugh. Right. See, I didn't really pay much for any of these. These next three were all CX purchases, that I had on my list, and I wanted to have copies of them, and they're all sort of good, almost like essentials for each for their respective systems. First one, I'm surprised this is as cheap as it is, but Metroid Other M, Metroid Other M. I don't know why did this not sell well, but it's dirt cheap. I mean, how often are you going to get a Metroid game for £3? I mean, I think the reviews are good. Is it because it's motion controls? I thought you can turn the pad sort of sideways, can't you, and use it as like just a control pad. Don't know. Maybe that's just motion controls. Maybe that's the reason why it didn't really sort of connect with people. But It's probably about the cheapest Metroid game you'll ever get. I mean, all of the others, they all sort of sell themselves, don't they? Just bar this one, and it's one I wanted to have. I mean, and like, you couldn't really ignore it for £3. And yeah, like I said, it's sort of strange how it's not really sort of captured people's imaginations. But this one, I remember who did a gameplay of this. Someone did a gameplay video of this, and it looked really good. And I've got the DS version, and they're compatible so that you can actually sync them up, and you can use your DS and your DS version of this game to control a character in this version, the Wii version. And it's Batman Brave and the Bold by Way Forward Games, and as Rob 2D champion Rob will tell you that Way Forward Games make great video games. So yeah, and like I said, I've got the DS version of this, and this is another one. I don't know why it's that cheap. It's come right down, £3.50 in Computer Exchange. Seems a bit of a no-brainer. And like I said, as I've already got the DS version, and you can link them up, and yeah, some sort of weird cross-compatibility thing. And yeah, it was Pete. That was it. It was Pete. I remember thinking that looks good. Just like a 2D fighter, 2D scrolling beat 'em up type thing. And finally, those were all with those two. I don't need to show you, but I'm gonna. Those two, and this next one were all with Computer Exchange credit, so didn't really sort of pay much for them. Like matter of a couple of quid for whatever I traded in. And this was another essential Red Dead Redemption Game of the Year edition. I used to have this, but I didn't realise that it was supposed to come with a map. And so when I found out that mine didn't have the map when it should have done, I threw a bit of a wobbler, and traded it in, and bided my time, because they're all over the place, these, aren't they? Everywhere. And and this one was really nice nick, and came with everything, including the map. I even nearly went on eBay to get myself up to see if anyone was selling the map individually, but they weren't. So yeah, again, £6. So like all of those three, they came to sort of about £12.50, and that was all credit. And I think I paid, don't know, £2 or £3 for whatever I traded in. So right. These next two were just random sort of out and about purchases. Resident Evil Chronicles is £1.49. Resident Evil Chronicles. A few light games on the Wii that I would like to get. Was it the Umbrella Chronicles as well, and isn't there? I think there must be other light gun games, but if any one console is built for light gun games, it's the Wii, isn't it? Light gun games and first-person shooters. So yeah, so these are pretty much essentials, and I've heard this is pretty good. Or was it the other one that's pretty good? It's Umbrella Chronicles, but I don't know. It's this one. I'm sure it's this one. Well, they're probably both pretty good, but and it's £1.49. So again, a bit of a no-brainer. Right, final out and about. No, actually, no, this isn't a final out and about purchase. Penultimate out and about purchase. Guardian Heroes Advance, or is it Advanced Guardian Heroes? I don't know. Just a scrolling beat 'em up. Not a sequel, just some sort of new game in its own right, and doesn't really, as far as I know, doesn't really compare. I've never played the original Saturn game. As far as I know, it doesn't really compare, but it's still a decent game in its own right, just not quite as special as that original game. But it looks pretty good, and it's made by Treasure. And I'll give anything that. There you go, that's not the first. Oh, anyway, I'll give anything that Treasure do a pop. And it was £3. This came from Game Zone in Wood Green, in the Wood Green shopping precinct. And I'd seen it in there for a long time, and it had always been about sort of £5 or £6. And I went in there one day, a couple of weeks ago, and they'd had a move around with their shop, and they'd obviously gone through their whole sort of GBA cabinet and Game Boy cabinet, and reprice things, and this one had sort of been halved in price. So I thought, right, I've had my eye on that for a while. I'll be having that. So yeah, it was £3. Right. Final. This is the final out and about purchase. A bit of a weird one. PS3 game. I'll just leave it there so it's sort of closer to hand. Bit of a weird game. I'm not sure I would necessarily recommend this. I mean, I've not actually played it myself, but yet. But from what I read about it, it was only £4, which probably says a lot. It's sort of a five-part. It's a five-part sort of production. They're basically the first 4 parts are anime. So essentially, you're paying for an anime on the PS3, but then the 5th part is sort of like a side-scrolling. Don't know what you call it. Side-scrolling, sort of beat 'em up, comparable to something like not comparable. Don't let this mislead you. But I'm trying to think something I could compare it to. Something like Strider, but more in the vein of something that game. What was that game? Robot Unicorn Attack. It's just sort of perpetually scrolling sideways, and you have to jump over things. But it's seen as the 5th part of this production. The production is called Short Piece, and the game's part is called Ranko Tsukigimi's Longest Day. The first 4 parts, I think they refer to them as pieces. I think dramatic anime and video game in one package. The first 4 parts are called. Hang on, that's 5. Well, Possessions, Combustible, Gambo, A Farewell to Weapons, and Opening. Oh, it's the opening animation. But they're all basically, it's like a collaboration between lots of anime producers, creators. And the 5th piece is called the 5th piece, and it's directed by Suda51. And it's this crazy, sort of slightly easy. No, it's not slightly easy, it is easy. Side-scrolling sort of action game. He plays a tiny little girl, and she runs along this perpetually scrolling sort of like through modern day Japan, and there's lots of anime cutscenes and stuff, and all these sort of crazy explosions in a sort of a crazy Suda51 style. It's supposed to be really easy, and so I paid £4 for this, and that's probably about, you know, the maximum you really want to pay. You can get it on eBay for about £4.65, and it's as cheap as it is purely because the actual game element is short and easy. But I wanted just to have a look at it, just to see, you know, just see what it's like. And like I said, I wasn't prepared to pay too much for it, but it was one I wanted to have either way. So yeah, right, those are the final out and about bits. These last 3, I suppose, are the closest thing you could say to me having bought my Christmas presents. I'm still on the lookout for other things like PS1 games, but this is the only things I've secured so far. First 2 I got from, what's it called? That video game Imports Plus, isn't it? That Canadian website that are actually really good. They've got just loads of stuff, like new versions of old games and things, reissues. Yeah, and they had, it was pre-New Year's Eve. Pre-New Year's Eve, they had an special offer, sort of a Christmas special offer of free shipping anywhere in the world. So in the past, I think I've only ever bought one thing from them before, and the shipping added up. I thought the price was good, but then the shipping on top is slightly less good value. I thought I'd take advantage of the free shipping and get a couple of games, DS games, that I'd had my eye on. And they're number 2 and 3 in the series. It's Etrian Odyssey 2 and Etrian Odyssey 3. They came to about £15 each. And Etrian Odyssey 3 in particular, you don't really see in the UK. I don't think either of them got actual official UK releases. The first one did. I've got it upstairs. That's why I didn't buy it. So yeah, you can actually buy the whole set on Video Games Plus for £35. But like I said, with the import stuff, that would, that, or not import stuff, the postage, that might add up on top. Very nearly went for, was it Rune Factory, and they've got a good selection of things like Mega Man games. Obviously, you have to have like the American versions, but I'm not bothered by that. But yeah, a couple of hardcore dungeon crawling RPGs for anybody who's interested, and they were definitely on my list. And final game, excuse me, final game. This is the one that I really sort of wanted the most. Certain games I've been able to have my eye out on a long time. This is pure nostalgia for me. It's a Game Boy game, and I only really wanted the a cart. A cart would do me fine, just a pure. And I'd had it on my eBay watch list for a long time, and didn't really want to pay that much because it's the sort of game that people would charge a bit too much for, but they never actually, when they sell, they never actually sell for that much. And I kept my eye out for one, and eventually I saw one just after Christmas, I think. Was listed for £4.95, and I think that's probably the one of the cheaper buy it now prices I've seen in a long time. And it's Operation C. I used to have this as a kid, and I loved it. It was probably up there as one of my favourite Game Boy games. I didn't realise it was an import when I had it. For some reason, it was easy to get hold of, but I just didn't have Pro Protector. I had this version. I didn't realise how similar they are. They're essentially the same game, aren't they? Same music and everything, same levels, but just different central characters and different enemies, I think, isn't it? Or just different. Like this one's got the dude in it, and the other one's got the robot. Pro Protector's got the robot, but I love this game. It's really easy up until the third level, and then it gets really tough. Not really tough, but tough. But yeah. It's just pure nostalgia. As soon as I put it on, it was just like took me right back to being about 11. I just sort of sat there and went, yeah, £4.95. I thought that was a bit of a bargain, actually. I mean, particularly for me, with having all this nostalgia for it. But right, that's everything. I've got a load of DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff. As I'm doing a pickups, sort of a DVD and CDs actually. DVD, CD pickup, Blu-ray pickup video will come in next. I'll probably do it in the next few days when I've given this video time to breathe, which is how it generally happens with me. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for any subs I've had. I think I've had one or two. I don't always get notification. So if I've not said thank you to anybody one-to-one, then I apologise. Actually, have they taken that away? Have they taken the discussion section away from YouTube channels? Because I've looked on a few channels recently trying to say thank you for people, and there's been no sort of discussion section where you can say thank you. I don't know if has that happened. I'm not sure, but either way, it's bollocks if it has happened. But so anybody who's subbed to me recently, I've not said thank you, and everybody else, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Cheers.